Okay, so imagine a machine that could solve pretty much anything. Not just calculate things faster, but actually discover new things. This isn't some far-off science fiction, you know. It's the very real, very high-stakes quest to build artificial superintelligence. And the story of how it's all happening, well, it might just be the most important story of our time.
To really get a handle on how big a deal this is, we've got to go back a bit, way back to 1945. A brilliant mathematician named John von Neumann wrote those exact words while he was working on the atomic bomb. He just knew they were building something that would change the world forever, for better or for worse. And you know what? A lot of the top scientists building AGI today, they feel that exact same mix of awe and, frankly, a little bit of terror. And right at the absolute center of this modern-day quest is one company, driven by a founder whose vision is so unbelievably grand, it almost sounds like philosophy. This is the story of DeepMind.
To really understand DeepMind, you first have to understand its founder, Demis Hassabis. See, he's not your typical tech CEO. His goal was never just to build a cool product. It's to build an entirely new way of understanding reality itself.
Hassabis's whole journey basically started with a game. At just 4 years old, he becomes a chess prodigy, mastering the game in a few weeks. It's wild. So this early fascination with these complex systems leads him to this big crossroads at university. Should he study physics, the rules of the outside world, or neuroscience, the rules of our internal world? And for him, the answer became crystal clear. The mind is the lens we see everything through. So if you want to understand reality, you have to understand intelligence first.
So how do you really understand intelligence? Well, for Hassabis, the answer came from the physicist Richard Feynman. It wasn't going to be enough to just read about the brain or study it from afar. Nope. The ultimate test of understanding something is to actually build it. And that single, powerful idea, it pretty much became his life's mission. So that mission finally took shape in 2010 when he founded DeepMind. And their goal wasn't just another AI company. It was to build something almost mythical, a concept that they started calling the infinity machine. And you really have to stop and appreciate the sheer ambition here. The infinity machine was never just about making smarter software. The vision was for a general-purpose tool for pure discovery, an AI that could sift through all the insane complexity of the universe, find the patterns that are totally hidden from human eyes, and then use that knowledge to solve our biggest problems. But look, a huge vision like that needs a place to start, right? A proof of concept. So the DeepMind team set themselves this really fundamental challenge. Could they build one single program, one general agent that could learn to do something complex totally from scratch, just by watching and experimenting, kind of like a person does? No special coding for the task, no instructions, just raw pixels and a goal. And the place they chose to prove it? The world of games. Which makes perfect sense when you think about it. Games are like perfect little laboratories for intelligence. They've got clear rules, clear goals, and a nearly endless amount of complexity. And the progress they made was just stunningly fast. First, they built an agent that learned to crush old Atari games just by looking at the pixels on the screen and trying to make the score go up. That's it. Next up was AlphaGo, which basically studied millions of games played by human experts to develop its own kind of intuition. But the truly mind-blowing leap was AlphaZero. It wasn't given any human games to study. It was given nothing but the rules of the game. And just by playing against itself over and over, it blew past all of human knowledge and literally discovered strategies that humans had missed for centuries. That right there is the difference between learning what we already know and discovering something entirely new. I mean, there was this incredible moment during its big match against the world champion, Lee Sedol. AlphaGo made this move, Move 37, that was so unexpected, so completely creative, that the expert commentators actually thought it was a mistake, a glitch. But it wasn't. It was a move no human ever would have made, and it was kind of our first real glimpse of a truly alien intelligence at work. And the thing is, the machine's play wasn't just brutally efficient. It was beautiful. The legendary Garry Kasparov described AlphaZero's chess style not as robotic or calculating, but as dynamic, fluid, and attacking. It was sacrificing pieces for better position. It was being creative. The machine wasn't just calculating anymore. It was playing. So, after basically conquering the world's most complex and strategic games, Hassabis and the DeepMind team turned their sights away from the game board and toward one of the biggest unsolved problems in all of biology. And this was the huge pivot. I mean, the core question was, if an AI can find these deep, intuitive patterns in a game like Go, could it do the same thing for the fundamental rules of life itself? So they took aim at a massive 50-year-old grand challenge in biology called protein folding, which is basically the ridiculously hard problem of predicting a protein's 3D shape just from its genetic code.
Their first attempt, AlphaFold 1, was a huge step up. But AlphaFold 2, that was the revolution. Its accuracy score, which is measured on a scale called GDT, just shot past 90. And you have to understand, 90 was the threshold that the scientific community had decided meant the prediction was just as good as the results you'd get from years of slow, super expensive lab work. The problem was, for all intents and purposes, solved.
And the impact was immediate, like right away. Scientists all over the world started using AlphaFold's predictions to do incredible stuff. Design crops that can resist diseases, find special proteins that might be able to eat plastic waste in our oceans, and map the structure of antibiotic-resistant superbugs in minutes instead of years. This wasn't just a cool paper. It was the start of what Hassabis calls a new golden era of discovery. But here's the thing, even conquering games and solving protein folding, that was never the final goal. They were just steps. Yeah, incredibly impressive steps, but steps on the path to the ultimate prize, artificial general intelligence. And this brings us right to the central tension at the heart of this entire quest. On one hand, the vision is absolutely breathtaking, an infinity machine that allows for infinite discovery, a tool that could help us cure diseases, solve climate change, and unlock the deepest secrets of the cosmos. But the flip side of that coin is an infinity of problems. What happens when we actually create an intelligence that is so far beyond our own ability to understand or control? When he was at his Nobel ceremony, Hassabis laid out his core belief, this sweeping idea about the nature of reality itself. He basically proposed that the universe is, in some really fundamental way, understandable, that all of its patterns, no matter how complex they seem, aren't magic, they're discoverable. And AI, the infinity machine, is the key to discovering them. It's a statement that really positions AI as a fundamental force of nature. And so that's where this quest is right now. It's accelerating like crazy with fierce competition, and the stakes just could not be higher. The infinity machine promises to be the most powerful tool humanity has ever created, one that could answer our oldest questions about who we are and why we're here. The only real question left is, are we ready for the answers?